This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Monday, February the 7th. Olympics are off and rolling.
Are they ever?
And this may be Canada's Olympics again. It may be 2010 all over again.
Oh, I hope so. Wouldn't that be nice?
Would be so good. Over in China. I thought ROC meant Republic of China.
I know you did.
So I was looking at the medal race. I thought, well, of course, they're hosting, so good for them.
Exactly. And you kept saying that, and I thought, I think you're getting it mixed up with the Summer Games. Because ROC is actually what the Russian athletes are competing under. They can't call themselves Team Russia. So this is the
Russian Olympic Committee,
yes.
That's the
of
ROC.
Russian athletes. And they hold the most medals at 7, just above Canada. We moved up to number 2 just this morning. We were 4th place earlier. Now we're 2nd place with 1 gold, 1 silver, and
4 bronze.
4 bronze. And the gold is our first, of course, of the games from Max Perot, who 3 years ago was battling cancer. He was undergoing chemotherapy.
Such a great story. He and Mark McMorris. So those are just such great stories.
Mark McMorris, the last round back in 2018, the last Olympics we had, he had just come back from hitting a tree. He had suffered extensive and quite serious injuries, worked back and made it to the 2018 Olympics. Got bronze there, and he was expected to, they were hoping, he wanted, of course, to win gold because he has a silver and bronze already to win gold this time around, but it went to Max, and Mark McMorris got the bronze. So they were both on the podium together, and the gold and bronze medals. So that was pretty cool. We got our first medal in the ski jumping, the mixed team ski jumping, which is a new event this year.
Yeah.
Finished bronze there. And Kim Boutin earlier this morning got a bronze in the women's 500 meter speed skating. So our athletes doing very, very well.
We lead the games in bronze. We have 4.
Hey, it's a medal.
I know.
You know what?
That's what I'm saying.
And it's wonderful. And it's early on, and there's only more to come.
Psychologists will tell you that the order in which you are elated with your medals is gold, bronze, silver.
You don't want to be silver?
Because silver makes you think you lost gold. Bronze is, oh my gosh, I got a medal. There's gold and then bronze.
And
silver
then
is always so disappointing because you think about a hockey game.
Because you were this close to a gold,
That's right?
You were this close.
You can't help but think you almost won, but bronze is like, wow, I almost didn't get a medal. I'm so grateful I have a medal. But in the hockey game, silver, you lost. Yeah. So psychologically speaking, bronze still feels really good. So
well, I would take the silver too. Yes, it would be. I get what you're saying, disappointing, but you know what? All of our athletes, fantastic.
Well, we still had a Canadian gold in it. The Canadian ski jumpers, which is the first ski jumping medal ever for Canada.
Yes,
it's one of these new events. It's a mixed team event. I think it'd be more interesting if they all 4 jumped simultaneously. That would be.
That make it? Oh,
that would be worth watching.
I haven't showed you this, and I'll have to find it, and we can talk about it tomorrow, and I will put it up on our socials as soon as I find it. But that would fall into a video I came across last week of games we really want to see.
Yes.
And it's like wrestling, and the towel snapping.
Yeah.
Instead of fencing, you snap towels.
Oh yeah.
And instead of the dive, the high dive, and you do the flips and you don't make a splash, it's like the biggest splash. So you do a belly flop off. That would fit into that, where all 4 go down together and have to jump.
Simultaneously, like about 5 feet away, like 2 meters. Like so, it'll be the social distance ski jumping. You're both 2, you're all 4, and you have to do things like look at each other, arms out,
like synchronized jumping.
Swimming.
Yeah, this would be synchronized ski jumping. There you go, Mark.
Somebody write this down for the next time Canada.
So many injuries.
Slovenia got gold in that one,
yes.
And then there's the Russians again.
But we still placed for the first year for it. That's great.
That's good. So we'll update that every morning, of course. So Wake Up with Mark and Charity mornings. We'll highlight that. It's getting to the end of the day, right? So that's it for us today.
They'll be sleeping.
So they're sleeping.
Them or
now.
us, because we'll be sleeping too. We'll go home and have a nap.
Opposite.
And that's why the game tonight is at 11, because it will be noon there tomorrow.
Right.
Right? Yeah, if you do the time. So that's why they're playing tonight.
Something strikes me, and maybe it's the Summer Olympics I'm confusing it with, but normally we don't medal well early in the Olympics. We tend to do well late. So the fact that we're off and running in week 1 is a tremendous accomplishment because I know in the summer we'll get like 1 or 2 medals in the first week and then we'll clean up in the second.
I was going to say, I think it's more summer. As we were talking last week, I think we are so involved in so many of the winter sports. I think it's just constant. I think from start to end, we are just there, which is awesome. That's
what's so great about watching events. There's Canadians in every event.
Exactly. With over 200 athletes there. We have a lot of people there competing in a lot of events.
And 8 sports. 8 sports. Outdoor and indoor. That's all it is. So, and as we mentioned this morning, the reason why you're not seeing a lot of Olympic wear on Canadians is because years ago when it was Roots, we'd all go out and get the Roots toques or the mitts.
The sweaters, they'd have the sweaters.
Yep. And then Hudson's Bay got it.
And they had the mitts too.
The mitts, and they were $15.
I remember that year for Christmas, we all got mitts. And I still have them. Yeah, they were great mitts.
You can get them at Hudson's Bay or you get them at Zeller's.
Yeah, the red ones with the leaf on.
Castle got hers. Great.
Yes, yeah.
$15. So everybody bought them.
Yep.
Lululemon is the official clothier of the Olympics. You can buy their gloves $62.
Of course.
Read the room.
I'm not buying their.
Pandemic.
I won't be buying their gloves.
Gas is over $1.50 a liter. Yeah.
Did they have like a little pin?
Yeah, probably for $80.
I was going to say 10, but okay.
So, all right. So you missed out on that one.
Yeah.
So branding opportunities.
Because those mitts too. So Hudson Bay, I believe, would have been about the time it was in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking that's when we had them on, and we played that clip from the gold medal game with Galaxy of Games. And again, did you feel the chills?
Yeah.
I did too when Sidney Crosby made that final shot and they won. It's one of those moments. Again, that's what's so great about the Olympics, because you do get these moments. I will never forget watching that game. I will never forget where I was, who I was with, watching that game, because it was just so great.
It was remarkable.
And I forgot that Jerome
McGinley had passed it over to
I forgot
Sidney
he was on the
Crosby
team, because to me he seems so much older than Sid. And I'm like, why is he? Oh yeah, he was on the team with him.
And to this day, I still don't see the puck go in. Like when I watch it, because the announcers were half a step behind the play, which was okay because it was so fast developing.
It was. I
mean, talk to the goaltender. Before we knew it was in the net.
Yep.
I literally almost, by the time they realized McGinley had the puck, it was off his stick. And it wasn't even on Sidney Crosby's stick. It was just bang, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he carried it. And before anybody knew what happened, it had been bing, bang, and it was in the net. Like, you couldn't say it as fast as it happened.
No.
And then that whole gloves off and the double fist pump while he's backing up to the glass, which you see it. If you just take a picture of that and now tell me this story. Everybody's like, Olympics. We all remember. Like, he gave us the vision, too. That was so good. So our Monday mystery year was 2010 today, based on that.
Including that clip. It was
Kesha,
pretty awesome.
Avatar, yeah. And then that goal call.
That whole series, that Olympic Games where the team was playing, we had a neighbor. So we watched the first game together, the first Canada game. And this is why part of the reason why I remember who I was watching it with, because we watched that first game with him and they won. And then we watched the second game and they won. And then we watched the third game and we went to someone else's house and they lost. So then it became we had to watch it at our house. We went away for one of the games. We weren't even home. And we came home and there was a pizza box sitting in our recycling. He had come and watched the game at our house because he had to. So when that gold medal game came around, there he was on our doorstep, sitting between us on the couch watching the game, because he's like, they're going to win. They have to win.
I just had a vision of, I think I remember, I sure hope I have this right, I believe, that NDP leader Jack Layton was in a bar and they kept going to him because there he was with the people.
Watching the game
at a bar with 500 people behind him. And it was like, shouldn't he have security or something? It's like, yeah, maybe. But it's a hockey game in the Olympics in Canada. And that's where we're going to be.
And that's what it was. And I'm sure there's many memories from the Calgary Winter Games too.
Yeah,
and when it was
84.
in Montreal. And just those moments that just...
And we bring
out that patriotism.
We led the medal parade in Vancouver, and that was great because, as we said before, when you host, you can send as many as you want because it's a bus ride.
Yep.
You don't have to fly them.
Well, and it's a different feel, right? Because it's home.
Yep. You want to do well, and you want to do well.
Yeah.
So you don't want to host the Olympics and get nothing or underperform.
But everybody seemed to have, there was so much fun around that Olympics too, because I think everybody was just we were relaxed knowing that we're home and this is going to be great. And what a fun time we're all going to have. And even the broadcasters, I remember some of the broadcasters who were there and watching them on scene and doing their reports. Even they seemed to be just lighter, just having more fun with it all. So
not going on in China this year, is it? Partly the pandemic and the crackdown. The media is having a real tough time getting the stories
out. I saw footage,
out.
again, I think it was from the Netherlands, of a reporter. I don't know what he was saying, but he was being forcibly removed during his broadcast. He had gone live and they had the split screen, so someone back home was talking to him and introducing him, and he started to do his story, and they kept the split screen, so they were going back and forth talking about something, and then all of a sudden you see these guards out of nowhere come on screen and forcibly removing him. So I don't know if maybe he was in the wrong area.
Right.
I don't believe he was saying anything he shouldn't be saying, because even the people, that split screen's still there, and she would look shocked, the anchor back in the studio. She was looking around as though, what's going on? What's happening here? And then they stopped broadcasting. So I don't know what happened.
That was that.
But I have read a couple of reports saying that it's a little touchy. You have to be careful what you're saying and how you're reporting it and where you are and who you're with. And so a little different than what it was here.
It would be tough to be live with them staring at you, I suppose, if that were the case, because we know that it's a crackdown of authoritarianism in some cases. But and there are those that are, at least, with the eyeballs, boycotting the Olympics because they don't like it being in China. Don't know what the answer is to all of that. I have my answers, which I will say because I say it all the time, because the Olympics are so expensive that the Summer Games should always be in Greece. Never moves. Let's stop moving the Olympic Games, okay? So it's in Greece in the summer all the time.
So they have them in the old stadiums and the... Yeah,
but then spend a little bit of money, because they'll spend all kinds of money, right? Just updating it, right? Just, put a fresh coat of paint in the pool, all that sort of stuff, right? Let's mow some grass. But when you set a record in Greece, it's the exact same track all the time.
Yeah.
So the 100-meter Olympic record is on the exact same track and will always be. So the weather's always the same. The wind's all the same. It doesn't move around. It's not a different time zone, because they spend so much money on the bidding and the underhanded money and all of the corruption.
But I think at one time they made a lot of that back, and that's the draw, is it not? Because of the tourism it would bring in. I know it's not the case at the moment.
Right.
But that was part of the reason why they moved it around, was to give other countries the opportunity to bring
that's the story.
People in.
But if you want it, we'll take a bag of money under the table. That's what's long been rumored to be going on. And then I would love to see the United States host the Winter Olympics. Pick Salt Lake City or Lake Placid or something.
Other great places
in North
where it's
America.
been.
I'm sure then Russia's going to say, well, how come we never get it? All right, then maybe we can move the Winter Olympics around. But I think the Summer Olympics should be in Greece all the time. And then we don't have to worry about the Olympic Committee showing up saying, "Oh, they're behind schedule."
Well, yeah, because even in Beijing, a lot of they don't have snow. They have to make the snow. Like these ski slopes we're seeing is all man-made.
Like it's 2022. Snow. Can't we just agree then that it's so expensive that we're just gonna leave it in the same places? And I would be happy to do that. It's like on the PGA Tour. And then you can plan,
and you can maybe stay in different areas.
Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah. Like, when the PGA Tour has the Masters, the golf course. Yeah. It's the same all the time. So to me, when they say, oh, the Olympic is this, well, yeah, but it's a different air. So it's like, well, we have to account for that. So the record, come on.
How do you really feel? Because, last summer was when they had all the humidity and the smog, and it wasn't good for the athletes to be competing when the quality of air was this, and it was so hot, and it was
They're the same.
You have a point, Mark. You have a point. That's a very, very good point.
Because I've been talking about this for years.
You need to write a letter.
Every time I mention it, somebody comes around, they pick me up and they move me off the screen.
Exactly.
All the time.
Be careful.
It tends to be you. It's Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast.
Can we mention the welcome back letter that you wrote this morning too for me?
If we have time.
Okay.
I don't actually have it here.
Oh, okay.
For our staff meeting.
Since it is my first day back, Mark, we had our weekly staff meeting, and you wrote a very nice letter on behalf of myself.
Did I?
Not really, no.
Was it?
Because our anniversary is coming this Friday, so I'm glad that I'm back this week to mark our anniversary on Friday. That's a week-long celebration for the two of us.
That Charity, for 3 years, sits there daily wondering how's he get away with this stuff that's not even interesting?
I need someone in here to pull you away from the microphone.
So it's like, and everything I'd hoped that this show would turn into hasn't happened. Thanks for 3 years.
No.
Thanks for
nothing. You know what? It
Mark.
hasn't happened. It has evolved and became something even better. Something I never even thought was possible. Case in point, this podcast.
True.
So we talked about that.
So join us Friday, though I don't know what we have planned. Or
we still
Thursday.
got a couple of days to get something thrown together.
We'll work it
when
out.
It really just takes us a few minutes.
Yeah, and we'll make it sound like we've been working on it for
ages.
months. It's Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast here on Spotify, Amazon Music. Hello, Amazon Music fans. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Linked right here off of our website at 955hitsfm.ca, where they're working on the building, as you can hear there.
You can hear the hammering.
You can join us tomorrow morning for the latest on the Olympics, how the Canadian women did against the American women's hockey team, and more. As we let the dulcet tones of the hammer us out on our way. Have yourself a great Monday.